Hey, welcome on a mellow, snowy day, but we're doing this. I don't know when this is going to be broadcast, probably sometime after this, but we're entrenched in snow here in West Virginia. How are you guys doing? Hey, we're going to keep it our duty, as you guys know here. We don't like to necessarily pound on a lot of the obvious artists. Maybe some of them you could say that we do. I know being an older boomer, being the dude I am, born 1960, that I'm predicated to a lot of the music in that era. And I'm going to bring you an artist now that you don't hear a lot about sometimes. I'm talking about one David Rea, Rea, David Rea. The first time I heard of David Rea, really personally, was when I heard him on my Ian and Sylvia records for Vanguard. He was there largely, on a lot of those records. I also was Gordon Lightfoot early on and played with Gordon. And essentially American-born guy. Grew up in Akron, born in Akron. Ended up dying in Portland in 2011. But really only made 3 records that were associated with major labels at the time. And I think a couple of them are really fine. I think the first 2 are really, really good. Essentially, he came up out of that influence in those folk songs, and it's amazing when you hear his first 2 records. His first record that we'll talk about here now is this one that probably a lot of people know the most, and he played the Troubadour, had a nice live band for a while. But I'm talking about Maverick Child. This is one that was put out on the Funny Green label that they have here in Capitol Records, manufactured by Capitol Records. But what made this record really special was, and I think some of them are hit or miss, but this is a Felix Pappalardi production, and it is really together. Some of the best stuff on this first record they have here are the ones where it's just him and Felix playing, and there's a lot of real empathetic type of stuff that really kind of reminds me, and we'll talk about here how it kind of progressed from here, but it reminds me of a lot of the stuff that the Dead were mining, New Riders of the Purple Sage, maybe even more like Pure Prairie League on a pop vein. Not really dreamy like that overly orchestrated stuff you think from Gordon, or even sometimes Ian and Sylvia stuff was like that. But it's a beautiful Maverick Child. There's a nice balance of this on nice country sound with a nice, beautiful slide guitar, some steel guitar, playing with some great players here. I mean, he's playing with Kenny Buttrey, playing drums, Charlie McCoy, so he's playing with some top people here. And Felix, of course, is all over this record. There's some blues stuff on here, Bad Luck Blues. He's a pretty good bottleneck blues guitar player you'll hear on this. Very, very good. And it's funny how you don't hear about this. I mean, people heard of that guy, Chris Rea, Lady in Blue and all that stuff and the thing, but I'd never really seen these records before this. Really good. One of the beautiful songs for the ending, the first side is called Cannibal Christians, and it's he and Felix together. It's a beautiful thing. But some of the songs, he does Blue Yodel #9, old Jimmy Rogers songs. Some of the songs he kicks up, man, rocking pretty good. I may be gone. Another great one, Bird of Paradise. That's probably one of my favorite ones on this one. Does a great version, even a rocked up version of Leaving in the song Leaving in the Evening. And then the one I was talking about, the cover on here, the real good was great version of Hellhound on My Trail. And even got a gatefold with this. If you look at the old green label here, you see that's the record here. Here is the inside here. It's got some nice pictures of some stuff. Talks about some heavy hitters in here, talking about David, Buddy Spictor, and Vassar Clemens on here. Kenny Buttrey, David, and Leslie West. Nice folks here. You can tell that's Felix and looks like Leslie having himself a little partaking there. But anyway, yeah, nice. Jeremy Stig here. Great first record. But let me say something though. It didn't end there. And while I'm glazing this guy, let me go on to where I think and don't be put off by this record cover. This is an ugly record cover, but he followed this up the next year. And I don't know. Let me have to see what year this is. I think we're talking about, these records that he made were for the Capitol. And this is the second one. Check out that back picture. Isn't that something? Everybody had a friend like that. Well, it looks like Augie at a good time, the keyboard player, an old keyboard player, rest his soul, and played for 10 Below there. Let me read you the musicians here. This is Bob Orleans and David Rea. And I'll tell you what, this is for Windfall. This is even better. This is even better. The one drawback I have from this, and I don't know why they did this, but they put a long version of David and Goliath, a live version at the end. And the fidelity of it is decent. But the songs on here that's just him, My Time Ain't Long, is superb. And it's almost kind of spooky. I mean, he didn't die early, but it is just kind of spooky that it wouldn't be long. He's got Corky Lang. He's got evidently a connection to Mountain and these guys. Corky Lang playing drums. Dino Danelli playing drums on the other. Mike Seeger here. Oh wow, from the folk legend, I should say. And yeah, this is a more. I think this record, in my opinion, has better tracks. I'm looking at these tracks. The Patter Roller song. This is one I just put on the whole side. I mean, really, there's a little bit of a drawback on fidelity on that last track, but pound for pound, this is more enjoyable. This is more pure. It's a beautiful. It's a beautiful front painting here. I don't know who did that. I don't think he did that. The artwork, I think, is by a guy by the name of Bill Matthews. And it is absolutely stunning and beautiful, but it doesn't look like what the record sounds like. He can rock out with this. You hear a little bit, you hear little bit of the electric guitar that he can play. And this all led him to essentially, after 2 records here with these guys, this was another one released on the wonderful Green label. So you can tell it happened in a period of time, the late 60s, early 70s, or the 68, 69. Let me see what the year says on it here. But yeah, Tom Green County Fair, Country Judy Jane. Oh man, this is my favorite one. I mean, I like them all 3. I like all 3 of them. But let me tell you what happened on the 3rd one now. And I talk about this connection with this. Well, he got a hold of started running around with some guys and went to the West Coast and started running around with some guys from the West Coast. And some of these guys by the name of David Nelson on guitars, Buddy Cage, John Kahn on bass, the Grand Gang I'm talking about, even Spencer Dryden, but I'm talking about one, Bob Weir, produced by Bob Weir, folks. Produced by Bob Weir, and the name of this record, believe it or not, is Slewfoot. And look how San Francisco it looks. All of a sudden, he looks like the dead. He's moving on this thing. And I'll tell you the truth, Donna's all over this. Donna sings a lot on this record. I don't know if you've heard this. Personally, I like the other 2 a lot better. This is a little bit of a step back. It's still a very enjoyable record. It's still got some performances. Bob plays guitar and vocals. Keith's all over this also. So there's a lot of people here, but David layered some stuff on here, piano chimes, vocals. Bill Cutler, Chris Harold, Darlene DiDomenico. Yeah, it's just crazy. Richard Green, Charles Lloyd, the jazz artist, is on here too. So this was during that period of time, and so this was in 1973. So I'm assuming these were a couple of years, or a year before. This guy is he's really different. He started off moving. He came out of Canada when he was young. I mean, he moved to Canada unusually. Born in the United States, but then ended up moved to Canada. But if you get these records, check them out, man. I mean, Rock Scully even was involved in this. I don't think this was a great big hit, but it probably connected more with the dead audience at the time. That was about the time I was 73 when we talked about Waking the Flood at the end of Steal Your Face and to Wake Your Flood. I think Waking the Flood. I think they were getting it together. But you look at this band; they were rough and ready. And I tell you, he played a shitload of guitar on this, and I don't know who's playing the lead on most of this. There's a lot of players on this record, and I think that's a little bit of the problem with it. I mean, it's not as pure his vision, and some people have less of a sustaining vision than not, and some people got a few albums in them, some people don't. But I'm telling you, these first 2 records, especially By the Grace of God and the Maverick Child, Those are two I would certainly recommend for you to check out if you ever get a chance. You'll probably be able to find them pretty cheap. I don't think there's a high demand for these things. Slewfoot may get may price a little bit more because of the dead connection. I got myself a Columbia Windfall here, but this is Bob Weir, baby. This is Bob Weir, and I truthfully, I think he sold out. It was a little bit too high much dead ratio because there's a lot of dead and new riders all over this record, and that's fine. But they had their own records. I think David Rea kind of maybe curtsied a little bit too much to them, maybe in the corners, at least for my liking. But by all indications, he wouldn't have been dropped by Capitol if he had a real successful solo career. He really was a fine guitar player and a fine musician. But I do want to point out something, and this happens a lot in this business, in this area. People make great records and they get undiscovered and they're not found. These first two records of David Rea are really, really great records. You should check both of those out, By the Grace of God and Maverick Child. And if you get a chance to check out Slewfoot, get that one too. But anyway, check them out, guys. Just a recommendation here today. I like a lot of the songs on them. I don't really think we have enough to do any kind of follow-up with this, but and I didn't really want to rank them. But if I had to rank them, okay, By the Grace of God would be one, Maverick Child would be right behind it, and Slewfoot would decidedly be the third one. And it's still a good record, but it's just not all Rea. And I liked Rea's stuff. Maybe he didn't have enough stuff left over by then. 73, I don't know. But anyway, wonderful dude. He has a website. Check it out. Buy his stuff. Check you guys out later. Hopefully you enjoy these recommendations, and we will catch you next time with something else fun. See you. So remember, smash the like button. Please subscribe. And I do appreciate you guys having you guys here. I like to discuss this stuff, and hopefully these are some artists that may give you a chance if you're poking around in a discount bin somewhere, or you get one somewhere, you see some artists you don't know about. This guy sometimes is filed in country, sometimes he's filed in rock, sometimes he's filed in folk. Found him all over the place. Thank you, guys. Catch you guys next time. Leave your thoughts below. Love you guys. Catch you next time.